Bears.
Welcome in, everyone, to the Barely Educated podcast, or should I say, welcome in, everyone, to the Barely Educated podcast.
All right.
All right, we survived our journey over the Atlantic, yeah?
Pip,
Gave them a good beating.
Codswallop those Jaguars.
Before I turn into Carm from CHGO, who has the worst British accent I've ever heard in my life. I know
Hello.
mine's quite a bit better. His is awful. Anyway, Chris, I don't care how you are. I know how you are. Let's break down the beatdown in the motherland.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So to speak. Yeah. So that was a home game for the Bears, right? Is that what I?
Technically, a home game for the Bears.
And the crowd sure sounded like it too. But,
they definitely were a home game, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they did the whole "it's third down" and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It was definitely and the end zones were obviously in Bears gear. Part of me is kind of like, it kind of stinks to actually lose a normal home game to do this, but the Bears fans travel well. London has a lot of Bears fans.
Yeah. How did
Jags
that?
might play there more, but that was not a Jags crowd at all.
Mm-mm.
So shout out to the fans as a quick
Thank you, fans.
appetizer for the main course here.
Yeah. Fine showing. Fine show, Bears fans.
Yes, jolly good.
Pip, pip.
So there's the answer to former student Tim's question. How long until there's bad British accents?
Almost immediately. Yes, that's right. Hope you're happy, Tim. Now you can.
Way to ruin this pod. No, ours are better than some that I've been hearing.
Oh yes, best kept secret out there, definitely.
This is the show for fan-driven accents. Or something. So first impressions.
If you're looking at the whole game, I don't know how you can't be thrilled. We have another week of Caleb progressing. Yes, he did have a bad pick, a really bad pick today.
Worst throw of his career, probably. One of the two.
So far, yeah.
Two, I would say, in the discussion. It's one of them. Yep.
And I had to remind myself what good old Dan Bernstein says is that... As my fan falls down, sorry. Dan Bernstein repeatedly says, development is not linear. Development is not linear. And that was a perfect example like that. I was like, how can you do that? But then, it is still your sixth game as a pro, so okay. But then to follow that up with 3 more touchdown passes, and he just looked in command. Like he does not look like a 6 games played rookie when he's at the line, pointing things out, calling things out. It is remarkable.
It is absolutely worth noting. First impressions for me are just a nice job top to bottom for pretty much everybody associated with the organization. I'll save some of the other things for good, bad, and ugly. But once again, you went out there and you beat the tar out of basically a bad team. I think they're better than the Panthers.
Yeah, sure.
But that's what you do, right? We joked about how this isn't college. You don't get to schedule your opponents yourself and pay them a few million to come upset you at Notre Dame. Wait.
Oh, hello.
So, they are doing what they should do against bad teams. It's another super fun, chill second half. Had a great time watching it with the kiddo again. So, yeah, and I kept telling her, I was like, it's not always this fun. Like, she's really getting into it now because it's like fun right now. But now's not the time, right? It's a good win over a struggling opponent, but again, you didn't squeak by for 3, with a 3-point win or something like that, as they get a garbage touchdown, but it's basically the same score as last week other than that. And so that's taking care of business, and good teams blow out bad teams. I don't know if the Bears are a good team just yet,
right?
But starting to believe, and I think maybe the main takeaway in the bigger picture is I think the whole team is starting to believe.
Yeah, it sure seems like.
Did you see the defense's reaction to the second touchdown?
I did not.
Pumped up on the sideline like, oh yeah, we got this now. Like now we're up 14-3. This kid's gonna get a couple more. We're not gonna allow much more. I'm seeing buy-in, and not just to the coaches, but to the players to the quarterback. Maybe I'm reading into it, but they look like they're excited out there and having fun. And Yeah, I mean the other obvious impression, I think the Bears got themselves an honest to God NFL quarterback. And I
It
was
sure
telling
looks like
Avery
it.
this too. It's like just wait for years 2 and 3, kiddo.
Oh, oh man.
I mean,
But that,
really, 6 weeks in, we'll come back to
that's
him.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm trying to like have my organization that we want to do here.
Yes.
So I
Okay.
wanted to do just like a general first impressions, good, bad, and ugly, game balls, all that stuff. So good, bad, and ugly. We do
Uh,
worst first around here because I like to end this section on the highs.
so is
Ugly.
ugly
Any
ugly?
uglies for
Okay.
you? I've got a couple, but what
Well,
about you?
I mentioned the Caleb throw.
That's ugly.
Um,
It's or a bad. You can call it either one, right?
yeah. Well, I think ugly. I'm gonna have to go with the opening drive of the
Yep.
Bears. Did they get
That's
any
my ugly
yards?
as well.
Okay. All
Ish.
right. All right. Yeah.
7 yards in the first quarter is my ugly.
Oh gosh.
And honestly, to put up 35 after that is kind of crazy.
It
But
is.
the point here is this is a recurring theme, and it is, I would say, the lingering concern right now as you move forward.
Mm.
But soak up the win. We'll talk about that more down the road, but I have to note it. It was another ugly start from a Bears team that is making this a habit too
Yeah.
often, and mostly on the offense, but the defense did give up some big drives early, long drives. They held them to 3 on the first. That was big. I mean, if it goes 10 or something, nothing, do
Different
they
story.
rally?
Right.
The better team is going to take advantage of these sluggish starts. So we're going
Hmm.
to have to clean that up before we start to play those teams. And then it's like smooth sailing from there. It's rather crazy.
Yeah, it really is the inverse of last year, where the Bears would start strong and then just fizzle out towards the end. And I know we've mentioned this before, but it was just glaring there for me today again. Because the first drive, nothing happens, and I wasn't worried that.
We'd seen that before, right?
Yeah, yeah, and I wasn't worried that they wouldn't pick it up later. I kind of expected them to because we've seen that
Yeah.
already. Whereas
It just
opposed,
later took longer than I want.
yeah, yeah, and
Took
as
a whole quarter.
last year, if they didn't start well, you'd be like, "Oh boy, this is gonna be a long, bad game."
Yep.
We needed them to start strong because they would. Like
But, in
yeah,
trying to do a bid on good, bad, and ugly, the start is definitely the ugly in this game.
agreed.
Okay, my bad is the interception. And I'll tell you
Okay,
why I've landed on bad instead of ugly, though I debated this like, the whole time I was conceiving of what I wanted to do on the pod. And I'm going to go with bad because it's a bad throw. And I consider ugly to be much worse and more like things you should absolutely have more control over, like how you start a game or coaching decisions, or if there were like 7 sacks, stacking bad is like ugly. Does that make sense?
yeah, yeah, that makes sense.
Whereas that was just one bad, really bad play. I think it's the worst throw of his career, tied with the out to the Colts corner because he was way too late, and he was way late on this throw. But the bigger
Mm,
problem is he put too much air under it.
yeah,
But it was two problems, and it should have been a touchdown.
yeah,
And so we're gonna be honest and analyze what we saw. Easily his worst play of the last few weeks. And then he has the trait, man. That's it on my bad. I'm already off to the good. Unless you've got a bad you want to add.
no, I do not.
We can circle back to some of the other things, but this just segues too easily into the good. Yeah, yeah, 4 TDs is great. I love the completion percentage too.
Yeah,
Because
20.
that's been a problem for Bears quarterbacks our whole life. They just can't convert any third downs. But I'm telling you, the best thing about this game is he comes back, you already said it, and they score 3 more touchdowns after a terrible play that cost you points. Otherwise, it's just a punt interception, and I'm usually okay with those. But that should have been a touchdown. All right, he comes back and just kicks butt the rest of the game,
He
and
sure
some
did.
absolute darts over the middle to convert on third down.
Oh,
Two beautiful throws to Keenan Allen for touchdowns. Another couple for first downs to Keenan Allen. Komet had a great game. We got to
oh my
give him some
goodness.
love in a minute. But for now, Caleb, a
Yeah.
yard away from 5 touchdowns,
Oh yeah.
and a better ball to DJ on the bad interception away from 6. And that's 4 TDs, 1 interception. Man, forget the 200 club, Flus. Let's talk about the 410 club. That one I could get behind. Going to be a
Hmm.
lot of teams if QB's got 4 touchdowns and only 1 turnover.
Yeah. How about the
That's what I
420
want. I
club
want that
though?
aggression. What's that?
The 420 club. You know.
No, 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 no.
No, oh, that's something. Okay, yeah. I did a little.
So,
I did a little
what?
quick math here.
Go ahead. We got all
23
kinds of stats we can do.
23 to 29. Caleb's at 79% completion today.
Yep. My next
Oh,
segment is going to be inside the numbers.
oh, sorry,
So hold
sorry.
that
Okay.
thought. No, that's great. I love it. You guys, you got to understand that NFL offenses that are productive have the quarterback in the high 60s, low 70s on a really good day. We were like rejoicing if Fields or Trubisky or whoever got into like 59 to 62. It's like that's not even good. So 23 or 29 is another reason to really celebrate, and I just want to continue to harp on this because it means he knows where he's going with the football. He knows what he's doing, knows what he's seeing,
Yeah.
making a ton of checks. The long plan of just throwing it all at him is coming together. Best thing the coaches have done, and I'm going to give a good to the coaches as well after that first quarter anyway. I love that they came out early in the week. I guess we're assuming that's a Matt Eberflus decision. Just to
Oh,
Bears
yeah,
brass,
I think
polls,
so.
Eberflus, whoever all is involved in that decision. We've seen what Nagy did with the Raiders game. That was one of the worst football games you'll ever watch.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it affected the Jags much. They've got a lot of guys who have done this a lot more than the Bears do, but they did have a bunch of drops. They did look way sloppier. They gave the Bears a couple first downs on the one drive, especially. They kept doing the defensive holding.
Yeah. Three in one
And
drive. Yeah.
yeah, so and I mean I know it's easy to be like, oh well, they gave you that drive, except for maybe your guy would have been open and Caleb throws it. So I mean, it's fair. But I love that they came out early, got adjusted, let the players have some fun, and the results speak for themselves there. Another great job adjusting in the game, even earlier than halftime. Again, it felt
Mm-hmm.
like they were. Um, Took away the run. We were worried about that going in. I think as a collective fan base. So yeah, good day for the coaches. I thought he should have challenged the one
Yeah, that I
play,
think.
but it's a
Mm-hmm.
nitpicking. I think to on balance, to care about that over the rest of the good things they did would be silly. And above all, they stayed aggressive and they're
They
letting
did.
Caleb throw in the red zone. And that is what I love to see
I'm glad you brought that up
because it's
because
been my biggest fear.
when we were texting during the first half of the game in our barely educated thread, we should make that like a $10 a
Red,
month, and you can join our
Threadly
thread. But yeah,
educated.
Threadly head. um, but no, you pointed out like after the interception, boy, I hope they don't put the training wheels on them or however you put it.
Yeah, yeah, same
And
idea, whatever.
and they didn't.
Yep.
They didn't. But they would have with Justin. So
And because
may,
they trust Caleb's processing, it's got to be what it is.
yes, so that encourages me that maybe the coaches kind of knew more what they were doing than I gave them credit for last year with Fields because they're letting Caleb still throw it now. Even well, but then again, earlier
This
this
whole
season.
thing is still dumb process, but the analysis of it as it's happening
Hmm,
is so much better if the coach is actually like, oh well, no, I trust him because he's look how well he's playing. I'm not conservative to a fault. I felt like I had to be. It's a whole different story if all of a sudden he's letting Caleb basically just be the coach on offense.
yeah,
Like with all the audibling and just like not taking the ball out of his hands is just huge for me feeling better about this whole thing. But it all still has to come, since we're recording and throwing this out to the world, it still has to come with the caveat that you got to finish the season strong and not just beat the bad teams.
yeah, yeah.
And like when the game's on the line and you're not up big, are you still trusting him? Because you should. When you're up three against Green Bay and a touchdown seals the game, are you going to turtle up and kick it and then give Jordan Love a chance or Matt
Mm,
LaFleur a chance to beat you still? Those are that I want to see it in those scenarios. That doesn't change the fact that I loved seeing it in games like this. They're getting him reps on the fourth down,
yeah,
which he converts. And then the four TDs, they're pretty much all red zone. None
yeah.
of them are like a big bomb or anything, which I still think we need to see the deep ball improve. But man, what happens when that's calibrated? And I think it will get there.
I think my favorite touchdown pass of the day was that play to Komet, the first one, where it's like a couple fakes
Yeah,
and then right up the seam. Oh my gosh, that was a gorgeous throw. And Komet like broke a couple.
truck a dude.
Yeah, he fought his way into the end zone. I was
Man, I
glad to
know they
see
missed
that.
the last field goal, but how good was Cole Kmet today? Having to be the
Yeah,
long snapper too.
what a guy.
Gosh, nothing but love for that guy. Fans who
Hmm.
clown on him. Yeah, he's not the most dynamic athlete in the tight end room in the NFL, but he's a good one.
He's got
And to
touchdown
come in and do
catch.
the long snapping and be basically fine that's impressive. Two
Yeah,
touchdowns. Great
yeah.
player. I love his podcast. That's so cool that he's just like, I'm going to give you an hour basically podcast every week.
I didn't know he did that.
Yeah, it's
Wow, I'll have
the
to check it out.
85. You can find it on any
Mm.
normal platform now. He does it through CHGO, so it's like him and Hogue, who's easily the best guy on
Oh
CHGO.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So basically, it's become a must listen every week. I think it
Cool.
usually drops Tuesday or Wednesday,
Okay.
and then
80,
most weeks he'll have a bear on too, like one of the like a guest. And
85 is
then
a good number for the Bears, my
yes,
friend.
sir. So shout out to him. Nothing but love.
Beautiful.
He probably is why they missed the last field goal, but who cares? And hopefully Scales is back off the bye. He's eligible to come off of IR, and it'll be okie dokie.
Okay.
But Komet has to practice that to stay ready enough to even be functional at it at period. So he's like
Mm,
putting in work on Thursdays,
um,
apparently. So good for him. That was a cool, kind of fun little hilarious footnote
it was, yeah.
to this game. And at first, I'm not gonna lie, man, there was a scenario where like, man, we don't look very good coming out all crappy in the first quarter, and now our tight end's the long snapper, and you're sitting there waiting for a punt to be a terrible high snap. Like you think the wheels can kind of fall off if you're not careful. And I thought one of the biggest plays in the game was when they converted the third down from their own 10.
Mm.
Because I could just see, that scenario where Cole has to snap to it without the normal length. I was just like, I'm glad we avoided that.
True.
That may
Yeah.
seem silly, but and then they were off to the races. Shout
Did
out also. Go ahead, sorry.
I was gonna ask? Did they punt after
They didn't
uh
punt forever. He had
after
that
the long
161
snapper
yard
got
one,
hurt?
right?
Yeah. So that
Nope, it
was
was just a bunch.
fortuitous. Yeah.
It really was important.
Yeah. Sorry, you were
Good to
saying.
not punt when you don't have your normal snapper. I'm going to say that
Yes.
that's the kind of hard-hitting analysis that we bring.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's
So
right.
the Bears' possessions. So let's just review this for everybody because it's kind of fun. This sort of segues. We'll keep talking about the good players and also into the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Punt, Jacksonville field goal. Bears punt, Jags punt. Bears touchdown, Jags punt. Interception, but Jags punt. Bears touchdown, end of half, 14-3. The Bears continue to be an absolutely outrageous second half team. They are the
Yeah.
best fourth quarter team by point differential in the league
That
coming in.
that blew my mind when I saw that.
That you gotta give at least some love to the coach that I keep thinking is not that great when they keep killing everybody after halftime. There's some good things there. Okay, the Jags didn't go third quarter, first play, 24 yards, fumble.
Don't.
Man, that's a really nice play. They just couldn't get out of their own way, man. Bears touchdown. Jags touchdown. Bears touchdown. That's your third quarter. Fumble from the Jags, and then both teams had two touchdowns after that. Bears had two, Jags had one. Fourth quarter, interception for the Jags. Bears touchdown. Panthers. Jaguars touchdown. Bears don't care. Missed field goal. Jags punt. End of game. They did not punt again after the first quarter.
Yeah. So that
And
worked
look at
out
how many
well.
times. Look at this. Look at this too. Okay, so Bears interception, Jaguars punt. Jaguars fumble, Bears touchdown. Jaguars interception, Bears touchdown. You know this is just warming
Oh
Flus's
yeah.
heart.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right. Right. Right.
Right?
Right.
Complimentary football.
Right.
Yeah, it was complimentary
It's
football, but you're also just torching them.
yeah.
Like maybe he means something better than I do. I think a complimentary football is like you grind out a kind of ugly 20-17
Yep.
kind of win. If you mean 35-10 for the majority of the second half, sure, I'll take that complimentary
Yeah.
football. That's just like we're better than you.
If the offense scores and the defense stops the other team from scoring, I do like that kind of complimentary football. Yes.
At its most basic level,
There
that'll
you go.
do.
Mm-hmm. Our website
That'll
is
do,
Buy Me a
pig.
Cup.
That'll
No,
do.
yeah. That'll do. Pig. Oh, what a great movie
Inside
that
the
was.
numbers. So we did
Okay.
Williams a little bit. 226, 4 TDs. Of course, everyone's going to latch on to that. I always like looking at stuff like completion percentage, which we did already in the 70s, almost 80,
79.
right?
Yep.
Yep. And
79.
then average 7.8. So he didn't put the ball down the field as much as he did against the Panthers, but 7.8 is a nice clip. DeAndre Swift also probably deserves a good.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
getting used to what he is, Chris. He's a guy who's going to be shifty and elusive, and he did absolutely pants a guy on one of the big plays
Mm-hmm.
with a filthy cut. He's not going to run anybody over. It's just not happening.
Yeah.
That's fine. 17 carries for 91 yards, as
Good,
well
good.
as 4 catches on 4 targets for 28. So over 100 total
It's
on
good.
21 carries. You'll take the average. I I would kind of in a nitpicky way if we're just like, hey, what do you want to see moving forward? I'd still like to get the ball to the receivers more and him a tick less, and
Okay.
just get down the field just a little more. Because I mean, your targets in the passing game: 5 for Komet, caught all 5; 5 for Allen, good to see, caught all 5, 2 TDs, maybe the breakout game; 2 for Rome, caught them both; 5 for DJ, caught 4. Of course, Caleb didn't throw that many incomplete passes to begin with.
Yeah.
And you say, oh, that's spread out pretty well. It is, but I just like a little bit more chunk down the field plays. The only throw I think over 20 yards was the interception in terms of
Yeah.
air yards. I think Komet's long was
I
30
think the
something,
touchdown. Yeah.
and Adunze had 28 yards. Some of that was after the catch, but I'm talking air yards. They didn't really go too deep with anything but the pick.
Hmm.
But it's nitpicking. Great day for DeAndre. Great day for Caleb on the ground as well. We should
Yeah.
mention that.
He ran
He was
more than.
lethal when he ran. It was good. 4 for 56. Great job taking no hits. There was the big one where I was like, "Oh, you left like 5 yards on the field. We probably wouldn't have taken a hit." Same time, I'm not gonna care if my franchise QB is careful in a game that they're already winning.
Yeah.
Like, and you saw he wanted it when he was about to score the TD, and he did take that hit.
Hmm.
So big time performance for the offense all around. Now let's talk for a second on that. Yeah, it's the Jags. I think their secondary's pretty bad. Had some guys out. They got guys suspended, etc. That D line's a lot better than the Panthers D line.
Yes.
So shout out to the Bears O line, who started iffy and played a pretty good game top to bottom.
For the
Jenkins
most
didn't
part.
come out ever, I don't think.
Oh,
I don't know
good.
when the last time we had a started and finished a game without visiting the tent for a couple cups of tea or whatever he does in there. Um, Maybe his best game. I don't know. Some of this I got to see like the all 22 or see
Hmm.
some of the breakdowns that the former players will post. But I thought the O line was moving folks from the start of the second on. It's like the whole team had that first quarter
Yeah.
problem. Um, and I just want to point it out because you are playing two legitimate edge rushers, especially in Josh Hines Allen, who had like 18 sacks or 17 sacks or whatever last year. And he had one today. So like last time they played an edge rusher combo this good, they got destroyed by the Texans.
Mm.
So shout out to them and to Waldron for the game plan. Let's give him some credit.
Yeah.
The worst
He's.
play of the
Yep.
day, he schemed up a TD and the QB missed it. Shane Waldron, like everybody else on this team, was cooking after the first quarter.
Yep. Maybe it's slowly but surely all growing, and well, we see that it is definitely growing and coming together. But it would be nice if it just happened before the second or third drive of the game.
Yeah, the ugly is these slow starts are going to bite you if you don't get it figured out. You
Yeah.
play the Lions or Packers or somebody and you do that, you're probably down big enough to be toast.
Hmm.
Turnovers, one fumble by Swift. Jenkins got on that. The
Yep.
interception, and then the Bears had an interception, but Blackwell. Great play. He JJ'd the guy. You know where Jalen will get this occasional interception because he bounces back into the play because he breaks the rule? Like he
Oh, I
baits
didn't
it. He's
notice
done that
that.
a couple times. He talked about it when he was on a podcast with whoever it was, Richard Sherman.
Oh,
And then
nice.
to see Blackwell basically do the same thing. So he's like heading out and then he comes back in and they did not expect it at all.
Hmm.
So that was cool. And then 2 recovered fumbles, one by Hicks, one by Jenkins, obviously, to keep that from being a turnover. So a couple turnovers, Bears win that battle barely.
No
And
pun
4 sacks, which didn't
intended.
seem like they were making that impact, but those were coming at the end as they're, you know, obviously stuck throwing like crazy. A couple of them were at the end, but your boy, Ogban, what's his name? Hang on.
Ogbog Bomiga.
Amen Angbang Benmiga. Yes, your boy. Got
Amen.
his first sack in cleanup duty on
Oh.
Mac Jones. You love to see it. Good old groin kicker Mac Jones gets a sack for his trouble. Montez split one with Cowart and Chris Williams with his first actually
Excellent.
positive play, I would say. Like obviously positive. There's probably been like some good plays that we just don't notice him on. But so yeah, that's the other guy they traded for right before the season. That hasn't
Right, right.
really done much. So yeah, just shout out for the defense. It's the usual you know, lunch box, lunch pail yeoman's work
That's
with
right.
3 guys out most of the
Yeah,
game.
thanks for bringing that up. I wanted to. to point that out is like it's nice to know that without Brisker and Stevenson, especially those two, that they didn't really miss a beat. That's
And then Gordon
very encouraging.
comes out. Hope that there's nothing there. Bye looks like it's coming at the right time.
Yes, absolutely. Get healed
So
up.
I don't have injury updates yet. I haven't seen any tweets. Have you about post game comments? I know Caleb was interviewed coming off the field and brought up the interception. The first thing he said was how he was going to not make that mistake again. It's like, my guy, you had a great game. I love the accountability, but you can be happy too.
I
But I love
know.
that he goes right to like, I'm going to improve.
I love him.
Yes.
I
But I
do.
haven't, I don't, because it's the London game and the bye. Did they just like, is there the normal post game for the coach and QB that we always get every game? Because I haven't really seen the tweets. I haven't,
Yeah, I
I
haven't
haven't been
really.
on Twitter for a little bit either, so I don't know if we're gonna get an injury update yet.
I didn't look too close because I was actually watching the second half while in church, and then as
Ooh.
soon as it was over, I turned stuff
The
off
Lord
so
has
I didn't.
blessed your shady ways, my friend.
Yes, my friend. Thank you, dear Lord. Thank you. I
What a
should have.
stud organist. He can watch football and
I,
drop the worship all at the same time.
I missed my chance to yell "Amen" in church after
Oh, that
Bamiga sacked. Yeah.
would be great.
Well. So yeah, good stuff. I like that you pointed out that Williams did spread the ball around 7 different receivers, but you do want to lean on the receivers more than you had. The Komet had the most receiving yards at 70, which is great for your tight end, but
Yeah.
then
Security
Keenan
blanket. We were
Allen,
mad the first couple of weeks of how he wasn't involved enough.
yeah, but Keenan Allen had 41, and that was the most for a wide receiver. So I'd like to see that higher,
Yeah,
but
and I
that's
don't know if
that's a
it's game
nit.
plans or he just isn't taking the shots. I feel like when we see the all 22, there's going to be a few where you're like, oh, he didn't let it rip. But he's
So
so good over the middle, and he was so
he
good on
really
third
is.
down, and he's decisive, and he's just throwing darts.
And
And those play. How long have we been begging for those kind of slants on third down?
I was just gonna say that the Aaron Rodgers esque third down and 7 or 8 slant to your one of your best wide receivers to just enough to move the chains.
Yeah, and it was great seeing
Beautiful.
some of that with Allen start to connect. I'd love to see more Rome because it seems like Rome's open a decent amount on the
Mm-hmm.
all 22. Like midweek, we're like, oh, there's Rome again, and
Yep.
he doesn't seem to be. He seems to be still learning the playbook a little bit. They had the one pre-snap penalty. I'm pretty sure that would be on him.
Mm.
With him and DJ getting wires crossed, you would assume the rookie probably on that.
Well, and that would make sense too because just looking here, his longest reception, he had 2 catches. The longest was 28. So he's got 28 and 12, and both of those are longer than any of Keenan Allen's catches
Yeah,
or DJ's catches. So
right.
yeah, he is maybe more of
It
a
seems like he's the
getting
deep
open.
threat. They're
Yeah.
still kind of waiting to finish.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, unlocking or whatever.
We
So
got
a
2 weeks to
couple
do
other
it now.
fun
Yep.
things for inside the numbers before we get out of here.
Okay.
We're gonna do this like every week, especially when it's good. Caleb Williams passer rating by week. Brandon's Segru 55, 51, 80. That was the 52 pass plays game.
Mm.
106, the Rams game. 126, Panthers. 124. And I bet you if he connects with DJ and that's not a pick, that's probably nearly a perfect rating game.
Wow. Yeah.
So basically continuing to play really well. Um,
When
you
do you,
gotta love it.
when do you
Here's
think
another
is
fun fact. Go
Oh,
ahead.
go ahead. Yeah. Okay, I was going to say, when's the last time a Bears quarterback had 3 100 plus ratings in a row?
I don't
That
know,
would be
but
interesting
he's
to find
already
out.
doing all kinds of Bears haven't done this since whenever. Here's
Yeah.
a fun one for the team. 10 of the last 12 Bears scoring drives were TDs
Oh,
from Kirsten Tannis. That's so great. I mean, it's like it's a different coach than the one that I'm always annoyed with
yeah,
whenever they are that aggressive in the red zone because that was absolutely towards the top of my dang it Flus and
yeah.
Getsy list.
Mm-hmm.
Um, trying to think, there are a couple other I wanted to point out. His throw chart looks lovely with throws over the middle for touchdowns. That's going to be fun. Here it is. There, I found it. Jonathan Wood, old friend of the pod. We should try to have him on. I quote
I
him
wonder if he
enough.
would. Yeah,
Fellow professor.
that's right.
Over his last 4 games, Caleb Williams is completing 70% of his passes for
Oh,
7.9 yards an attempt per attempt, with 9 TDs and 3 interceptions. Has also added 110 rush yards at 7.3 a run. I can tell you it's the efficiency that should be exciting.
Mm.
Averaging 290 total yards from scrimmage per game. Yes, it's worth noting this has come against some bad defenses, but still, this is a rookie QB in his third through sixth career starts. He's making all the pre-snap reads to direct the offense. Again, it's another thing. I just cannot say this enough. Guys, they are just like, here you go. This is what you're going to have to do at this level. Start learning it now. And he concludes with saying, Bear's throwing everything on his plate and he's handling it.
Yes, he
Guys, the
is.
sky really is the limit. It's okay to be excited, even if it was against bad teams. Our last several quarterbacks, I mean, our whole lives of quarterbacks, they don't put together games like this in a row.
That's why. Yeah, that's
It's
why I
pulling
asked.
teeth to hit 20. I'm not here for the whole bad opponent thing. They played who put the league put on the schedule. I am here for the let's do it against better teams, and we'll be even more
Sure.
excited. And it might be next year. They might struggle down the stretch this year. I don't know. It
Well,
wouldn't surprise me if they have a hard time against some of those better teams. But he's getting to get the experience now. He's getting the confidence. The team is buying in. This is a nice stretch that we've got to witness, and we're going to have a wonderful couple weeks with this bye. Soak up the 4-2 record. Go get to play a fun game against the Commanders,
mm,
and then you get the Cardinals and Pats, and then it gets hard.
then again, yeah. I do think we should point out too that well, the Bears did it against a bad team. At some point over the last 2 days, Vegas had
I
the
know, right?
Jaguars favored. I mean, it was only a point or a point and a half, depending where you looked. But the Bears were underdogs
And
today.
poor cousin Nate
Cousin Nate.
and I were like, "What are we missing? What are we missing?" Yeah, Stevenson's hurt. What's going on? Like we both started getting like
And Brisker, yeah.
the iffies about this game, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
man, why is this line changing? And like you may say, it's only a point or two total. Yeah, but it's like they're trying to entice the bet, or they're following the bets. It's like always up for debate, which is the thing. And it's like, what do they know? What's the trend we're missing?
Mm-hmm.
And so for it to not matter was cool because I did kind of had we had a pregame, I probably was going to be like 27-20 Bears.
Mm-hmm.
And then by like yesterday with the line changing so much and then injury news, I was sitting there like, dang, what am I
Uh-oh.
not seeing about this Jags team? They did beat the common opponent that beat the Bears.
Mm.
I mean, they are a mess. They hurt themselves a lot. They're not the Panthers though. This talent wise is a better team than their record. Wouldn't surprise me if the coach stays in London after next week's game, but it's not the Bears' fault that they get those games on the schedule,
Mm-hmm.
and they're a stone's throw away from 5-1 guys. The
Yeah,
Colts game was there for them.
it was. And they were, had a chance to go up in the Houston game. We all kind of felt it wouldn't happen, but they were there. So,
Yep. And now
yeah.
you're looking at my joke, right? That the offense is 0-3 because of the how bad they were against the Titans. The offense itself is on a 3-game winning streak
Yeah.
to some extent. I don't know. I'm just kind of
Yeah,
having fun.
no, for
But
real.
the Bears
Yeah.
legitimately are in a 3-game winning streak. How often does that happen?
It's been a while.
Maybe I'm setting the bar low with
But
all these historical
2018?
comps, but I'm just talking like recent history.
Yeah, I think probably you and I were still co-workers the last time that happened, my friend.
Maybe 2020. That was just a weird year we all try to forget about with the COVID and the no fans, and it's
Yeah,
just clunky and awkward.
yeah.
One last tweet from Mark Potash, ever the optimist. Mark Potash. The point is, if he's excited and tweeting out happy things, maybe give it a listen. I think he's actually pretty hilarious, but a lot of people don't get his bit.
Mhm.
The Eagle has landed. The Bears have scored 5 offensive touchdowns in back-to-back games for the first time since 1956.
Oh my gosh.
First comment, I was in kindergarten and I'm 73. Tim W., you, sir, we need to have on the pod. We need to talk to you about how this feels if we finally have an offense because we finally have a quarterback. These are the kind of people I want to hear from. Because I'm like, man, I've been tortured by this fan base or this franchise pretty much my adult life, and this guy's got 30 years more of it. He did get
Yeah,
the '85 Bears in there though.
that's my dad's age. He was the same exact age. Wow, amazing.
Papa Teichler.
Robert Deichler, Robert Senior.
So
Wow, that's
fun
good
stuff.
stuff. Yeah, for real. All right, my friend. That a good place to put a bow on it.
Absolutely. I mean, just enjoy following the next couple weeks. Have fun consuming podcasts or the radio or the Twitters of old
Mm.
show nemesis like Dan Weeder who are absolutely positively giddy about Caleb, and it's so fun to see. He's still not allowed to cover DJ Moore though.
No.
But no, he shouldn't be allowed to cover Caleb by that same logic.
He
But
should not, but
just soak it up. It's a solid win again.
again.
They don't have me miserable. That's a win. And Caleb is playing NFL football at a high level, not backyard magic happens fadeaways, which we know he actually couldn't do. This is even better though, because he's doing the sustainable stuff well already.
Mm-hmm.
Just clean up that deep ball, and the sky's the limit.
Yeah. Oh, good stuff. All right, thanks everyone for listening. We will talk to you next week at some point. We'll preview the bye week. I'm starting to like the Bears odds.
Something happened to the preview this week.
Yeah, sometimes professoring gets in the way.
It does.
Ladies and gentlemen, sorry about that. So.
But hey, we made up for it with a quick post game.
We did. Yeah, I'll try to get it posted as soon as I can. So yeah. All right, thanks again. Enjoy the bye week, and send us an email, bearlyeducatedpod@gmail.com. Our website is buymeacoffee.com/barely_educated. We'll send you a t-shirt if you join our honor roll. And yeah, enjoy it. It's going to be a nice Monday tomorrow. All right, bear down, my friends.
Caleb Williams.
He is the chosen one.
We will watch your career with great interest.
I love the Bears.